Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy YRG, also known as Eli, and I'm here with my teammate Lichi, James, and he got second place at this past weekend's uh, California San Diego Regionals. Correct? Was it San Diego?
Yes.
All right, San Diego Regionals. How many players were there?
There was a total of 460-ish players. I'm pretty sure it was a 512 player cap, but
Okay.
460, around folks, 460 showed up.
Yep, that's a pretty good amount, I'd say, for regionals, especially for a non-online event. So, um, he played Alphamon at this event, and he's going to take us through his deck and explain some of the choices along the way if he's got any tech options. Yeah, I'm gonna give the mic to you, Lichi, and yeah, thanks for being on the channel again.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'll start off. I'll just quickly go to cards, and I'm just gonna explain like the thought process of the deck building on it and some general strategies of the deck. So, quickly enough, 4 eggs, 4 Dorymons, the 4 Doru, 4 Ryuda, 3 Dory as the rookies.
Yep.
Uh, Basic alpha stuff, but and level 4, it's just like the 4 Doruga and 4 Dex
Mm-hmm.
Doruga. No hybrid for game on this list. Uh, there's just no space. But yeah, the 4 Dorugray and the 3 Dex Dorugray,
Mm-hmm.
uh, conventional stuff. Then 3 Oryumon, still the same. But here where it kind of pivots, I'm doing the 2 BT6 Alphamon and the 2 new Alphamon, the Digivolve Alphamon. It's like
Yep.
the thought process on this one is if you only do one of these, you don't see it consistently enough. And if you just do all of the new BT6 Alpha, which this is really powerful in itself,
Mm-hmm.
but your deck becomes kind of one-dimensional, and this card opens a whole lot of plays for the deck. The 2 memory gain off of end of attack is amazing, and it can come up surprisingly with the X-Antibody option that Alphamon decks run.
Yep.
But also with these two added, it just buffs up the amount of security the Alphamon deck possibly could have,
Mm-hmm.
since it only not triggers from you having an X antibody trait on the field, but it also triggers from the opponent's side of the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in a format that has like more X antibody, melgaX, wargreyX, grandis.
Yeah, this X
If
antibody
they
is
hit this
everywhere.
in security, you stop the swings and go for the crackback.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no better deck to retaliate off being saved from not being lethal, outside from Alphamon, and Alphamon just can win out of nowhere if you can't beat the deck in the turn you're supposed to beat it.
Yeah, definitely
So
can.
yeah, I do really like the split of the old and the new Alphamons.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 of the Oryuken, I was testing out 2, but
Nah, two
it's
is
not
too
enough.
little
Yeah, 2
almost.
is too scary. If only one comes out in security, yeah, you'd be too scared while
Yep.
playing 2. So I don't think you should ever put 2. So 3 is good enough. And now I think alpha players are cutting the quotas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 2 quotas. Let's skip directly to a split of 2 quotas and 2 memboosts. I
Yep.
think a lot of Alphamon players are just jumping on more memboosts and skipping the quotas outright.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a good idea because people are prepared, especially on a big tournament. They will be coming with their memory blockers, and if you can't choose, mostly you want to choose when pop a mem boost, and once it's blocked, you're gonna have like a really hard time. So the quota really gives you that extra memory you need. So I think having two is enough. Never three. One's not enough,
Mm-hmm.
but two to split with memory boost and coda is good enough.
Yep, I'd say that's
And
pretty good.
as usual, the for cool boys, no explanation needed there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only cutting to two UGs. I don't feel you need three UGs.
Mm-hmm.
UG is probably the most powerful tamer on the deck, for sure. That I could see why people wanting to play three, maybe even four on some of their decks.
Yep.
But you kind of want to do safe, consistent plays on Alphamon. If you don't find your line, if you don't find your stack, sometimes UG would be a detriment for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say the same with running 11 rookies.
Yeah.
Uh, some lists would want to run 10, just cut the one rookie to max out
The
on
rookies,
like a
right?
higher ceiling for the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more power or more mem boost. But having that rookie safely evoing, I think the best way to explain this is on an alpha game, you only have 2 turns to brick. 2 turns to not find a rookie. If you brick turn one, you could drop a cool boy, try to search for that rookie, or drop a mem boost.
Mm-hmm.
If the next turn you still don't find that rookie, you probably just lost. To be honest. So yeah, that would be my thought process in having two UGs, like the 11 rookies, for that consistent play, consistently finding uh your evo lines.
Yeah.
And one X-Antibody, two Breath of the Gods, and a little special slice with the Ultimate Flare.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Oh,
How was the
yeah,
ultimate
and
flare?
Ultimate Flare is amazing. I think it's what Alpha Dex has been missing. The one extra card that will save you a game. I could mention some stories later from the
Yeah,
matchups,
for sure.
but yeah, the one Ultimate Flare means like I already have like five secure pseudo security bombs on my security as a Alphamon deck. Like
Mm-hmm.
these two
Six if you include the
plus these
two
two
X
and
antibody.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
So these are really powerful in security and even the flare, and they
Mm-hmm.
do come up a whole bunch, especially on the whole tournament. Like this saved me a whole bunch of times, and this saved me of times.
Yeah, if you can get
So
any of those bombs in security, it's definitely. I mean, in this OTK format where games are decided by one turn, definitely it's great if you can have something to buy you one extra turn.
yeah, and one thing I stray away from other Alphamon decks is I'm not playing Congo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I noticed that.
I do like most decks play two Congos,
Mm-hmm.
two or one, and that two Congos is possibly my space for Flare and my space for the other Alphamon,
Mm-hmm.
my fourth Alphamon. So Congo's not worth it in my opinion. It made Alpha players play so safe
Mm-hmm.
up against like security control decks or the new Ofani deck.
Yeah.
But you don't need to you don't need to play safe up against those decks. Uh, Strategy I go by up against those decks is do control on them, like be the control player up against a security control matchup. They could never possibly check you fast enough where you could set up your tamers and you could do your powerful plays and go into the Oryuken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, whenever you're up against like a security control deck, you aim to reach that Oryuken play, pop their Digimon, or try to wipe out their board so they could never check you for game. And
Mm-hmm.
you take out most of your sources from when you go into the Oryuken stack. And I would advise not to waste Greymon on the stack. Like possibly I would just save like one Greymon and Oryumon in a stack on top of the Oryuken, so that it'll be swinging for 2 checks, restand 2 checks. If there's a Chaos Degrade in the stack, if I lose this, as long as I gain back the memory and have like tempo on my side, I could still make another stack and do another powerful play. Or even sometimes like sometimes I do some really weird pivots where I take out everything and this is only the stack with the egg, and this will just be swinging for 16k. Your opponent would be like, do I really Chaos Degrade this thing where it has nothing under it anymore, but I gain all that 7 memory back? So it's super hard for Sekon or the Ofani deck to really beat a Alphamon deck.
Yeah.
As long as you just just play to your strengths. And yeah, this is possibly the most powerful deck in the format.
Oh, 100%. I think overall it's got the best matchup spread out of every single deck in the format right now. And if you know how to play the deck, you can definitely beat a lot of the matchups. I was talking to Grayson from GTS. He had gotten first place at one of the regionals over at Gen Con. And our decks were very similar, like 2 cards apart. But like we did very well over the weekend. I think we topped every single event we played in. So it's definitely, I think, one of the best decks in the format, just because it's so consistent and so powerful.
Yeah, it may not be the best deck. Like maybe Garuru takes that spot, but this deck has the most power in it. It actually doesn't have any weak matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
You might have like let's say Garurumon, it would be like a 50-50 matchup. It's not really in favor of Garurumon, but it's not in favor of Alpha either. But you're not weak up against the Sekon decks. Maybe the Commander decks. Some people might have a hard time up against that deck.
Yeah,
but
on the security bombs, those ones.
Yeah,
are kind of unfortunate though.
My advice with up against a matchup like that one is still the same up against Sekon decks where you do control on them. But one thing I noticed is you never take once you do the Oryuken play. What's the Oryuken here? Let's say this is Oryuken. Once you do the Oryuken play, never take the Alphamon under. Because you might hit like a Chikurimon on your swings, and if you hit the Chikurimon, it becomes the Alphamon. Maybe if it's a gain 2 memory Alphamon, you're set. You gain the 2 memory afterwards. But that's one of my like little strategies up against that deck. Just not take out the Alphamon under it. Or maybe you do like once you have like a full lined up stack, try to play around Ultimate Flare and not like completely remove the sources. Like the top end, you just keep it. Even if it gets D-Digivolve 3, you still have like a blocker out there or like a level 5. So yeah, it's still not a bad matchup for Alpha. Like I would say it's like a 50-50 still.
Yeah, I think Alphamon's definitely got a very good matchup spread across like the current meta and probably even future metas too. 'Cause it's just it's pretty strong.
Yeah, and I think when I prep my deck for the San Diego regionals, I was playing up against shout out to Dan Veng and Chung Man. I was playing up against their alpha builds, and this one generally has like a good matchup up against other Alphamon builds too. Just because without those Congos and I have like the one flare, like a couple of card difference will just like shift the tide on a matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna ask. So the Grumble, you never missed the Grumble.
No,
Mm,
it's it's so hard to justify Grumblemon for that one deck space
that's what I
because
thought
most
when
of
I
the
yeah.
yeah
That's what I thought when I
uh
first started playing the deck, and then I tested it with Grumble, and I mean, our decks are a bit different. Like I'm playing more Memboost, and I play max out on Yuji, so I draw more cards through my deck generically, um, instead
mm,
of just searching my cards. So I think the Grumble, I think in certain decks, can definitely have a maybe a higher ceiling just because of maybe not higher ceiling but like a more opportunities to come into play just because of like certain ratios cards are played.
yeah. I mean, with the Grumble, like with that one extra Grumble,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely comes up, and it definitely is like a it puts a different uh like a different like an extra power towards your deck,
Yeah.
but uh like most alpha decks are the same, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time have their like own little personality depending on the player that's playing it.
Yeah.
Like I would love one extra deck space because the deck's just so limited to 50 cards.
Mm-hmm.
If it was 51 cards, that one extra card probably would be a grumble for game.
Yeah.
But I could not afford like that one card to miss out on like
Yeah, that's fair.
my other ratios.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
yeah, I do feel like every single Alphamon deck has their own little changes and their own personality from the deck builder.
yeah, I think for the most part Alphamon has like pretty much like a 45 card common base deck, and then you can just swap out certain cards depending on tech mode. So
Yeah.
like your ratios between your tamers Yuji and Koda. Same with like your Alphamon ratios. I've seen 2-2, 3-1, 3 of
A-
0, and then
And it's
same.
always that hardest part. Those few cards that you're trying to think about, like those extra 4 or 5 cards
Mm-hmm.
that you're shifting in and out of the deck. That's always the hard part of deck building.
Yep.
But it's always like once you see results from your deck build, it's also really satisfying
Yeah.
to see where the card you put in has been doing work for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like I'm sure your ultimate flares came in handy, and same with the X-Antibody option. So it's like it's very much comes down to um, how the player plays their own deck and if how they know their deck. Because I mean, once you play a deck for such a period of time, you kind of know your deck in and out, like all 50
Yeah,
cards, and you can kind of just play to your outs, and I mean, it's
yeah,
very player
like
preference.
yeah, like one yeah. I guess one more thing with Alphamon decks is um, it's not too easy to like copy paste this like
Mm-hmm.
your Alphamon deck,
Mm-hmm.
where you have to kind of get used to playing the deck because let's say something I do from with playing the deck is I do some card counting
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
where
count the cards
whenever
too. When you put the cards at the
yeah
bottom of the deck, whenever you
yeah
yeah, I count those as well. It's like it's 10 to the bottom now, or like you kind of know where the cards are.
yeah for me it's not mostly like, let's say when I play the Mem Boost or when I play the Cool Boy
Mm-hmm.
and I search the cards, I
Yep.
have like a small mental picture what I'm putting under,
Mm-hmm.
but what I'm really looking at on my side of the field is this is these security bombs in the bottom of my
If
deck.
they're there. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
after
also
like you
make sure my securities. I mean, whether they're in security, if I don't know if it's in the deck, it's in security.
yeah, so you make like a calculated risk.
Mm-hmm.
After you essentially drew like 30 cards in your deck, um, and these 5 cards over here
Yeah.
might be a security bomb, and yeah, like most games I would on the tournament, I would have to decide: do I keep in raising over here, or do I raise up, do like a blocker retaliate, but I might get answered, and I just lose my stack, or do I trust my security to save me, where it definitely did, but that guess over here that this if there was a security bomb or not,
Mm-hmm.
had like higher chances because I was already like keeping track of my deck, like essentially like I drew this much of my deck,
Yeah, you knew
and
the odds
this
the card
is,
was
yeah, the
higher.
odds are like 10 to 15 cards left,
Mm-hmm.
where yeah, the odds would be higher that there would be like a security bomb there, and I could come back from my opponent's swings. Yeah, I could mention some stories of a couple of games I did.
Yeah, for sure. If you have that.
Yeah, so the last three matches I had were really good. They were from the really good players from Medbay to the champ Jose Salas
Mm-hmm.
to Brent Sosa as my last match.
Yep, all really good
Brent,
players.
yeah, all of them are really good players. And I won't take away anything from the rest of my matches, because every single one was really good. But those three, uh, it made my trip towards San Diego like worth it, because those were really thrilling matches. Like up
Mm-hmm.
against Medbay, I had like two security left. It was Oryuken and Alphamon, the BT6. So like I said, like I did like a card counting in my deck already, and
Mm-hmm.
I had like a level 4 stack in raising. And if I pass turn towards Medbay during that final turn, I'm pretty sure he had enough check, because he had melga on X to check twice, and a rookie for game or a blitz omni for game on his hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided on myself to like, there's a huge chance that Alphamon BT6 would be in my security, and there's one card left there, and I think like 1 out of 10 chance that or yeah, 1 out of 10 chance that there would be Alphamon over here, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like the final match, the final game, and he checked Alphamon. I had nothing outside,
Yeah.
and he since he had like X-Antibody in the field, I stopped his swings, and after that one, the crackback happened, and I just went for game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one scenario where the BT6 Alpha came in clutch for me. And it was a really exciting match. Props to Medbay for it. And my last match up against Sosa, he was playing Grandis.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I did like a really crazy play. I had a stack here with a level 4 stack. Um, he was ready to go Grandis on his. He had like Okua on his racing,
Mm-hmm.
but I still had 5 security left, and I only have a level 4 and a couple of tamers. So what he did was he had his Okua on his racing side and dropped a searcher. So, and then he passed turn towards me. With that searcher, I was pretty sure he would have game. I would have to trust my security again, but since I didn't cycle enough.
Yeah.
So in my head, it might be like really risky for all those 5 checks to just go out of nowhere, and
Mm-hmm.
rookie would swing for game. So what I decided was uh, have the level 4 ready, and made like I think a blocker retaliate on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he was just gonna suspend it no matter what. so he'll still have his multi swings.
Yeah.
And from 0, I ultimate flared that one Okuwa searcher and gave him 8 memory. So
Oh,
that was
nice.
a really big ballsy play. So I gave him all that 8 memory, and him as a good player, he knew that if he raised his stack right there and tried to swing for everything, but doesn't have game next, I would just like wipe his board.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did was he dropped 2 more searchers and searched for his blockers, and he had like double blocker out.
Okay.
But he only had like I think 3 or 2 security left.
Mm-hmm.
And with that level 4, I got
Just
to like
overkill
raise up
blockers.
yeah, just pop one of the blocker off the Dex Gray and
Mm-hmm.
Alphamon to Digivolve it. Take a trash a Dorumon for that 1 extra memory gain. Pick it up off the Digivolve Alpha, not pass turn. Take out this blocker,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and yeah, and went for Oryuken just in case
Something
he
big.
doesn't yeah, if something big in security
Yeah.
happened. But yeah, I just swung for everything, and that was game right there. Uh, so that was like one clutch play.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Yeah. So the deck could do like multiple stuff out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
The deck.
another thing was yeah. One other thing was
Mm-hmm.
uh up against Medbay, he had a Wargurum on stack already that was ready to swing for a whole bunch of checks. He passed me like 2 memory, and he was thinking that I might not be able to answer it. But what I did was go into a level 5 not pass turn
Mm-hmm.
and tuck in X-Antibody to swing into
Oh,
Oryumon,
nice.
and Oryumon just popped the
Yeah.
Wargurumon. So
Clutch X antibody option.
yeah, so with the deck, you can't really just rely on like straightforward plays,
No.
going into the Oryuken and having like Alpha under and the Oryu under it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need to like pivot around and have like more options for yourself,
Yeah.
and like playing more of the deck just really helps out find those clutch pivots to win you games.
Yeah, because honestly, Alphamon, despite it being one of the most powerful decks in the format, it is very pilot dependent, I've come to find. And it
Yeah,
also is, I mean, it has some linear plays to it, but the way you sequence the cards can determine how high the ceiling you can reach in the deck. And very similar to like Lilith Loop, and how certain players could top with a Lilith Loop and you wouldn't see much representation of it. It's almost to that extent as far as like sequencing cards and
oh yeah,
your deck.
very much. Yeah, I would agree on that one very much.
Mm-hmm. Anything else for the deck profile? You want to do any shout outs or anything while we're
Uh,
here?
I think with the deck, it's good. Any questions? I guess you guys could comment on the YouTube video. We'll try to answer as we could.
Yep. Sure.
Shout outs to the SoCal players that came up to the tournament. Everyone was amazing. Like the big players came out. Jose Salas, the champ. Congrats again. Medbay was there. Uh, the team Collector Legion team was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a really stacked tournament.
Yeah.
Shout out to CoreTCG also for hosting.
Yep.
True Champ Steven and Eggman for commentating the matches.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
I re- I really would want to watch some VODs on it. So those two guys, those were really great. And one last shout out to my crew, DXN.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are ever on the LA area, like come visit on DXN Provisions. It's Tuesday night, Tuesday Tamer nights at 7, and there's like a Sunday casual one. But you would always kind of see me on the Tuesday night ones. a little bit more competitive over there, but still like chill and friendly. But yeah, shout out to everyone that came over, and it was just like a overall amazing experience. Having the first, oh, it's my first time in person also. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Yeah, congrats on
yeah,
your
it was.
first in-person top in-person event.
Oh, thanks.
In-person.
Oh, oh man, like the difference between in person and playing off online is such a huge difference.
Yeah, it's night and day for sure.
Yeah, it's night and day. Uh, every now and then I would love like an in person one, but not every single time though, because that I woke up 5 in the morning and had to go back and forth from San Diego. But yeah, it was exhausting, but it was amazing too.
Yeah,
So
definitely
there's that one.
experience. I feel in person you kind of get to know people more instead of just like the usernames. Like you see usernames on online all the time, but when you go in person, you get to see these people and actually put a face to the name. It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, like yeah, once you talk to others and they introduce themselves with their this game, and it's like, oh, you're this and you're this and that. I was like,
Hmm.
it's amazing. It's like you finally yeah, see the guys you've been talking to on Discord,
Yeah, exactly.
which like the Digimon community is just like amazing overall. So
Hmm.
it's the best I could say.
Yeah, definitely one of the best communities in TCG. I agree. It's probably going to do it for this deck profile. Thank you, Lichi, for doing the deck profile, giving your explanations, going over some of your matches that you had. And shout out to everybody that you had given a shout out to. Any final comments or remarks?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Eli, for taking your time,
Yeah,
and yeah, uh, peace out. When
yeah. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's YRG as well as Lichi with Limit Break, and we're out. Peace, guys.